going to hear from, I think the highlight of this is the soil health living labs that have been funded in the last couple of years. And we'll also have the chance to have a panel discussion with them where everybody can have a chance to pose questions and have hopefully a lively discussion. We'll also mention the upcoming soil matchmaking platform. And I think I'll mention a little bit about that in the next slide before we try and conclude the meeting. And for the people here with us physically, like, thank you very much for joining and being with us. We'll end with a nice lunch together. Okay, next slide. So just to quickly introduce the organizers. So myself, Tyler Arbour from iFoam Organics Europe, and also my colleague Maria Gernert, who works at iFoam but heads up the technology platform TP Organics. I'll let her present herself in a moment, and also Gabriele Ridolfi from Feeble Europe. So I would say our sister organization, also now based here in Brussels. So I think most of you know, but iFoam Organics Europe, iFoam is the International Federation of Organic Agriculture Movements, and they have an international group and then also regional chapters. So we're the European voice, and we really represent from the farmers to all the way to the retailers in the supply chain, but also the research and innovation side of the organic sector. And yeah, I think we have more than 200 members across 34 countries, and we really try to push forward these the principles of organic agriculture, which I would summarize as more of a whole system approach that includes people and animal well-being, in addition to health of soils and all the life forms involved. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So welcome everyone, and happy to be here. And my name is Gabriele Ridolfi. As Tyler presented me, I'm a project coordinator. I'm working for Feeble. And for who doesn't know, Feeble is one of the world-leading institute of applied research, development, and knowledge transfer in the field of organic farming. Our mission basically is to transform the food system, like in ecologically, economically, and socially. So glad to have you here, and I pass it over to Maria.
Thank you. Also welcome from my side. So as Tyler said, I'm working for TP Organics, which is the European technology platform for research and innovation into organics and agroecology. We are hosted by iFoam Organics Europe and are officially recognized by the European Commission to provide input in research and innovation policy and programs. We bring together, like iFoam, a broad coalition of stakeholders in the field of organic, agroecological, and low input agriculture, but also food industry research and environmental and consumer protection. And we have 157 member organizations from the whole food value chain. And our mission is to shape research and innovation for organic and agroecological approaches that contribute to sustainable and resilient food and farming systems. If you are interested in getting to know more about TP Organics or becoming a member, you can check our website, tporganics.eu. And also with the follow-up of this event, you will receive a full presentation. Thank you.
Okay, so I think to cover this quickly, the objectives, we just want people to be on the same page about the goals of this event. So like understanding these soil mission calls for 2025, and maybe we can talk a little bit about the pathway. So what's happened from the 2023-2024 work programs, and I think our guest speakers will have some insights to share about that. Really make sure everyone's familiar with what is a living lab and the key points of that. I think the highlight, as I mentioned, is learning from the experiences so far of the guests we have here, the first soil mission living labs, by getting to interact with them in the panel session. And then what does the SOILL-Startup project provide? What kind of resources and support for potential new applicants and existing soil health living labs? And then we really want to make sure that we give the spotlight to some of you if you're looking to form connections or looking for partners and have ideas. So there will be a pitching and matchmaking session that we'll have as well, that hopefully these collaboration opportunities will be able to form in today's event. And I think I'm passing it over to you, Gabriele.
Yes, thank you very much, Tyler. So everybody can hear me well? I wanted to get a little bit more feeling from the audience. I think everybody is here, so we can start. And before we actually go deep dive into the topic, I would like to take a step back and present a little bit the SOIL mission. I think we all are quite familiar with the SOIL mission. Here in the room, everybody's familiar, or have you heard about it, or maybe it's the first time. I see some people nodding, that's a very good thing, but I will spend 2 slides very quickly to introduce a little bit the mission. So first of all, why we are here, it's because the European soil are not doing well. 60% of the European soil, they are unhealthy. So basically, for this reason, the European Commission has set up a program, which is within the Horizon Europe program. And this mission, the soil mission, is having different objectives. Different objectives that will be achieved with the establishment of 100 living labs by 2030. And this living lab will basically showcase and will be the driving force to achieve the change that we want to see in European soils. So the main objective of this mission, Soil Deal for Europe, is to reduce desertification, to conserve and increase soil organic carbon stock, stop soil sealing and increase reuse of urban soils. And we know that cities are going to be heavily affected by climate change, reduce soil pollution and enhance restoration, prevent erosion, improve the soil structure to enhance soil biodiversity, reduce the EU global footprint on soils, and also improve soil literacy in society, so our understanding as citizens about soils. Also part of the mission, so we can think about the mission as something like a program that is built in 4 main blocks. The first block is about the research and innovation program, which is the program that is going to generate the knowledge, the data, the technologies, and all the infrastructure that we want to have in place to achieve the objectives. Then, of course, we have the living labs that we have mentioned. So we want to achieve these 100 living labs to actually accomplish the objective. And another important topic and point of the block of the mission having is doing, and this is actually going to contribute to the European Soil Observatory. Last but not least is literacy, soil literacy. So really understanding and communicating about the problems that our soil are experiencing to citizens and to the civil society. This will be done by communication, training, advice, and target to different target groups. So basically, this is in a nutshell the soil mission. I'm sure that you have already heard about it. I hope now I refreshed a little bit your memory. But as we see in this slide, there will be 5 waves of funding to actually to have this living lab in these different waves and to achieve the 100 living labs that we want to achieve by 2030. So with this one, I would like to take another step back and say, but what is a living lab then? Because I'm sure that there are many participants in the audience that they would like to be new applicants, and maybe they heard about it, the key concept of the living lab, but they are still trying to identify, or they would like to get some clarification about the key features of the living labs. So as you can see in this slide, basically there is a little bit of a summary of the different levels and the different elements that are part of a living lab. So a living lab is a form of collaboration, a range of stakeholders at local, national, or international level to address different challenges. One of the key features of the living lab is the co-creation process. and a live testing approach to address local and global challenges. So basically, as you can see here, we have like a first layer of the Living Lab that is somehow responsible for the coordination, the experimentation, and keeping together the different partners, and is working at regional and landscape level. Then we have another part of the Living Lab, which is considered like the experimentation sites. They work at local level, and they can be one farm, one forest, one urban site. And what they do in terms of activity is the co-creation process, the co-creation of knowledge and innovation. And they are active on site indeed. And then we have the lighthouses. So lighthouses are also local. They demonstrate, so they are like indeed a lighthouse for that topic, that specific topic. So they demonstrate the performance of the site. So here I will not explain so much about this slide, but I think this is a visualization of what I just mentioned. So it gives you a little bit an idea about the boundaries, who are the main actors and who is inside the Living Lab. And I will go directly to this next slide, which is, you may ask yourself, like, so then what are the criteria? Who is defining who is a soil health living lab and who is not? So there is a set of criteria that are grouped in 4 different categories. And one category is the aim of the Living Lab. So it's very important that there is a clear aim, which is about co-creation, innovation, and formal learning. So they have to contribute to societal challenges, and they have to improve to soil health and related ecosystem services. So you remember the 10 objectives that I mentioned before. So it's very important that the Living Lab is actually linked to one of these issues. So they actually clearly tackle one of those issues. Another part of the criteria, another area of the criteria is the activity. So the co-creation, co-development and experimentation of the activities, the research impact of these innovative practices in ecosystem, the networking and the knowledge exchange, the demonstration. So these are all the activities that have to happen as a criteria in the Living Lab. And then in terms of participants, we have the public and private people partnership, which is often characterizing the Living Labs. There are real users, so the soil manager connected with broad array of stakeholder and decision maker, and the demonstration part with a wider public. Yeah, and the last area of criteria is the context. So usually we have multiple disciplines that are addressed in the Living Lab. So it's transdisciplinary and different methods and dimensions. It's a place-based and it's a real-life context. So I mean, this is like, as you can hear, it's very theoretical, but we will have a chance in a moment to translate the theoretical concept into practical concept, because we have here 4 Living Lab representatives today, and I would like to take the moment to actually thank you all for being here. And before we go further in the presentation, like as part of the soil mission, there are 4 types of land use that are recognized. So we have the agricultural one, the natural and semi-natural, industrial, urban, and forestry. But of course, today we are discussing about how organic agriculture and agroecology can contribute to the soil health in general. So basically, I guess we will mostly focus on agricultural soils. I will give you a brief overview of the first mission Soil Living Labs. So far we had 2 waves of funds, and after the first two waves of funds, you cannot see. Okay, no, it's coming, the slide. After the first 2 waves of funds, we have 45 mission Living Labs. I will not now deep dive and read you through this, but there is also a very nice catalog which you can download and read, and you can find all the different characteristics and the way of working of the Living Labs, and you can find further information about this. You're also invited to scan the QR code. So as I mentioned today here, we are going to translate this theoretical concept into actually practice, what is happening in this in existing living labs. And we have 4 guests. As you can see here, we have LL Ireland Midwest from Dr. Lena Madden is here with us. Thank you. We have Solviterra Living Lab online with Florence Arsenault from Fibol, France. And we have Seychelles Green Nomad Living Lab with Martin Soriano. Thank you. And Re-Soil Foundation with Margherita Caggiano. Thanks a lot. So now, before actually our guests will introduce themselves, I would like to tell you something about SOIL, because we are here because of the SOIL project. You can also see the banner over here. And this is a project that is funded within the SOIL mission. And I would like to hand it over to Tyler for a further explanation about the SOIL mission.
Thank you. And I'm mindful of the time, so I'll try to be quite quick, but we will be sending all of these slides to participants afterwards, so you can go through them again at your own pace as well. So for SOIL, it's currently a framework partnership project, so that runs from 2024 to 2030, and so we're nearing the end of last three quarters of the first phase. So the SOILL-Startup project, and there are planned SOILL-Step-Up and finally SOILL-Scale-Up. That's going to be a continuous source of support for living labs until 2030. Okay, and is there one more part on this slide? So SOILL-Startup is really to bring a diverse partners together to co-design this one-stop shop, as they call it, for all aspects of coordinating and supporting and trying to help get these living labs off the ground and start implementing, experimenting, testing practices, and then sharing and eventually scaling up over the years to come. Next. So what does this support framework involve? So it's really support for future applicants, as well as empowering the existing Mission SOIL living labs. Engaging, I think, key to this is to the ongoing support is really to make it bigger than about even the living labs and the Mission SOIL project, or the mission itself, engaging the wider soil health community. To really have this collaborative ecosystem that really unites people and forms connections, because that's what we really need for effective knowledge transfer. So this is a little bit dense, but it covers a lot of in a nutshell, what we do. So it's kind of divided into the support for existing living labs and support for applicants. And there's these different categories that are the main form. So knowledge sharing among these groups, building their capacity to apply for funding, to run a living lab effectively, thinking about business plans. And we do that through, there's a web platform that we call the SOIL Hub. And actually it's going to officially be launched tomorrow to the public, so for everyone. So we'll be mentioning a little bit more about that at the end, and then helping with engagement and promotion, so that the people hear about these initiatives, get interested, and consider themselves like, hey, can I or can my organization be involved? Really have this soil community. And so just very briefly to touch on the 3 main topics is that SOIL focuses on is living lab concepts and methods. So the coordinator of SOIL-Startup, I should have mentioned, is the European Network of Living Labs, and they have a lot of experience with all different types of living labs. So they really have a lot of data, let's say, and experience with what works well, what leads to a successful implementation. But given that this is the soil health living labs, there's a focus on the technical side of things as well. And the living labs really bring that component, because for a lot of us, not all of the soil partners are technical experts, but some are. And so it's really working together with a lot of different perspectives to make it all work and bring the social and communications aspects as well. And that's what touches more of these transversal themes and cross-cutting aspects, so that touch policy and business and funding, really, yeah, engaging stakeholders and having this open science, open data approach. Okay, please, next slide. So getting towards the end here, and the Soil Hub, which will be available to everyone tomorrow, is you can definitely find it easily through the Soil website link there, but we'll be keep the watch on our social media from iFoam Organics Europe and as well, and the Soil Project. So it really tries to bring together the existing resources that are out there around the Living Lab, how a Living Lab is set up and run, and as well as a community space for so the Living Lab Atlas, similar to what Gabriele showed. We have all of the Living Labs in an interactive map that's easy to browse, so people can see what's even in their area. Each Living Lab can have their page to be found, and so people can see the basics. Next slide. There is a help desk where people can pose questions and get within a few working days answers to the things about the Living Labs or soil, these different topics that I mentioned a couple slides ago. We've also worked hard as a team to gather the best resources that we think pass our judgments for being truly useful resources for Living Labs. So now that's the first version of this catalog is also in the hub, and you can see also upcoming events on the calendar. I think there's one more. So this is really about the exchange. So it's really a place where people can meet each other and comment, and we really invite everyone who's involved in a soil health Living Lab or interested to register and become a part of this community, because I really think they're also going to connect with where hub and more than just another platform from the EU project. And we always mean well with that, but it's difficult to maintain and gain momentum. So, all right. Next slide, please. Okay, so offering to applicants. I'm just going to quickly go through these four main points, and it's guidance and support during the application and onboarding process. Yeah, so I'll let you read the rest and maybe come back to this. But I want to mention that there are national mentors. So we've tried to bring together people from each country who are willing to help, especially new entrants, and encourage them to apply for funding. Okay, let's go to the matchmaking. So this matchmaking platform that I think is due to be available just actually at the end of this week. So I'll say a little bit more about it later, but this is something where you can enter basic information, and so it's a great follow-up to this meeting for everybody who's here with us online. And I would encourage you, if you're looking for partners or partnerships, to make use of this and try it out. I think it's built successful already in that implementation. So this is the next version of it under SOILL-Startup, and I think that this could be a powerful way for people who can't join us physically and where you can't connect easily, face to face, to find each other and form connections. The help desk I mentioned, so people can really ask almost any question that's related to soil health, Living Labs, the mission, and how to be involved, or looking for support, even some technical knowledge. And again, this catalog of resources. So for example, webinars, guidelines that we find very useful, and as well as templates to use, for example, for business model development, and fact sheets that kind of summarize information to get people started in a certain topic where they need more support. And I just want to wrap up almost here by saying that there are other upcoming events you can see on the SOIL website. The event that we're at today here pictured, and then a couple other ones upcoming on the 11th, the 18th of June. So if you're, for people interested, there's more to learn about and more ways to connect with other potential partners. Okay, next slide.
All right. So I'm taking over this part, but because our guest scientist Sarah needs to leave very soon, we will just take one back later. Okay. So I would like to now invite Sarah to the stage. I would like to invite Sarah to unmute herself, and I will present a presentation about how organic and agroecological farming contribute to healthy resilient soils, and we will receive some information from the scientific community.
Yes. Hi, Gabriele. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you well. Hi,
Perfect.
Sarah. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks a lot for pushing me a bit further forward. So I'm very happy to be here to talk about how organic and agroecological farming contribute to a healthy and resilient soil. Yes, thank you. So what is the unseen hero of organic agriculture? So it's not a specific pesticide or fertilizer or management practice. It's something much more fundamental. It is soil health, which is the bedrock of organic principles and driving the success of organic agriculture. So, but first I want to address the question, what is a healthy soil? So a healthy soil is a soil which has the ability to function as a vital living system and which has the capacity to fulfill certain soil functions, including the water regulation and purification and climate regulation. So providing us with clean water and clean air. It is further need to provide physical stability and support, allowing us to grow plants for food and fodder, and providing a biological habitat and diversity. So providing a home for the billions of soil organisms inhabiting it. And of course, it's important for nutrient cycling and availability. So making recycling organic compounds, making them available for land uptake. And with all of that, like sustaining primary productivity. And within the last decade, it has been well recognized that soil microbes are essential for soil health as they play a key role in most of these soil functions. For example, they are responsible for the decomposition of organic materials, for the recycling of nutrients and making them available for plant. They also have the capacity to fix nitrogen from the air, providing it to the plants. But they help us also in fighting against pests and diseases and improving soil structure by secreting various active compounds. This is only to mention a few examples. So knowing about their importance, we wanted to investigate how agriculture management practices affecting these important soil organisms. And to answer this question, you can go to the next slide. We made use of our DOC long-term trial. Please, the next slide.
It's coming.
Perfect. So, and to study this, so we made use of our DOC long-term trial. So it's a system comparison trial, which is now running since over 40 years. It's a mix of, so it's an arable farming mixed system. And we compare different biological, so organic system, so organic and biodynamic with conventional.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you
hear
now.
us well?
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay, because you're coming through a little bit broken, like it's breaking the connection.
Really, I think I got an indication that it might be the Wi-Fi here. So let me.
Because
yeah, I think Sarah, if your connection is normal, right?
yeah, it's normal. Maybe the from the audience, the remote audience could say if they can hear me well. So yeah, apparently it's your connection. I just see from the remote audience, it's normal. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, I think let's continue. I may switch to my phone hotspot if we need to.
Okay, great. So yes, coming back to the doc experiment. So yeah, we compare like this different organic system and with conventional system. So, and maybe the next slide, please. So we used DNA barcoding to analyze the. So the next slide. But do you see me well? Is the visual okay, Gabriele?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I make this, then you can switch the next slide because otherwise, when you don't hear me, you don't know when to switch. Perfect, thanks. So we use DNA barcoding to analyze the community structure of bacteria and fungi, visualized here in this ordination plot. That looks maybe very technical when you're not familiar with it, but the most important point is that the closer the dots are laying next to each other, the more similar are the communities. So you can, there is some animation. Perfect. So, and what we can see here, so in the doc experiment, so we have very distinct microbial communities when we compare the organic system, here the big circle in blue, with the conventional system. Here, circled in red. So we have distinct communities. So, but it's not only the communities which are changing. So we also see that we have an impact of the management practice on the abundance of soil microbes, so that you can see here on the parameters on the top, the 3 parameters on top, which give an indication about this abundance of microbes in a soil. And also we have a higher activity of the microbes in the soil, which is the 3 parameters on the bottom of this spider diagram. So we have seen now here in this doc experiment, so we have a higher abundance and high activity, but this is of course only a case study. So we wanted to know if this is a pattern which is also holding true globally. So when we look, when we look at the impact of organic agriculture more on a global scale on microbial communities, and this you can see here in, so we did a meta-analysis where we investigated the impact of organic agriculture from 57 scientific publications. And also here in this diagram, you see in this response ratio plot, so you see like we have overall 40 to 60% more microbes in organic agriculture, and also the activity is increased from 30 to 80%. We have a higher activity of microbial communities in organically managed soils. So to know what are reasons for that? We did also a meta-regression, and we figured out with this meta-regression that that especially the organic inputs like compost or manure and a high plant diversity in the form of a good crop rotation or legumes in the crop rotation, these are main drivers which are really promoting this higher activity and abundance of microbial communities in organic agriculture. And the good thing is that these practices are not specific for organic agriculture. These are practices which can be adopted in each agricultural system. So to further expand our knowledge on the effect of agriculture management practices, not only on soil microbes, but also on other actors of the soil food web, we conducted another metadata analysis in a currently ongoing EU project called Benchmarks. I will come to this back later. And this study, we looked at a broad set of management practices. So which are ranging here for carbon and nutrient management, very on the left, to soil, vegetation, and pest management. And we're looking at the different levels, so from the macrofauna to the mesofauna to the microfauna and also the microbes. And what becomes obvious, so when you see here with the color coding, so we have a lot of management practices which have a positive impact on soil microbes. We have some positive impacts also on the higher trophic levels, but we see also we have a huge gap in, especially on the macrofauna, mesofauna, on the effect of management practices, which is a gap which is very important to be filled, because we know also not only the microbes but also the higher trophic levels are really important for healthy soil systems. And this is also now ongoing research we are doing in that project. So going one further, so going now back to the question, why is soil health and the active and functional microbial and soil community important? When we look at the goals of many European strategies, like for example, also it has been mentioned, so a soil deal for Europe or the Green Deal, farm to fork. So it's about a circular economy, closing nutrient cycles and improving soil health. And in many, and some ongoing, but also past, but also future EU projects, to tackle these goals, the development of novel bio-based fertilizers is the main focus. And here, when we think about these bio-based fertilizers, these are fertilizers, so fertilizers made of waste products, so the nutrients are organically bound. So, and as we have said in the very beginning, so active microbial community is important to really like decompose these organic materials, making the nutrients available for plant uptake and really then increase the efficiency of such fertilizers. And now going to the very last part. So as we also have heard from Gabriele, that 60% of soils in Europe are not healthy. And to monitor this soil health, it's very important. As we have seen, it's also one of the pillars from the EU mission. So, and this is the goal from the project Benchmark. So where it's really about building a European network for the characterization and harmonization of monitoring approaches. And two of the main goals are the harmonized and cost-effective frameworks for measuring soil health and to establish or develop an integrated soil health tool, where we also demonstrate links between the indicators for function and ecosystem services. So there in this project, we really want to go not only from a sample, but taking also like the stats, but also space measurements into account. We addressing all the different like levels of stakeholders, from the farmer to the policymakers. And the very last slide, please. And also what is very important in, so our approach is not that one indicator fits all, so as it is now a bit the current practice. So in our idea is that we want to have like specific indicators, so which are really specific to a land use type, to the pedoclimatic zone, and also to the context, to the challenge we want to tackle, because the challenges in one part of Europe are different, like for example, from the south to the north. And so we have not only like a very small set of indicators we can apply to really like tackle all the different challenges, so that we have this specific indicators then really to tackle challenges which are then important for certain functions to improve certain soil processes, and have the selected indicators for that. I think now I'm at the last. Yes, right. So one of the outcomes, which is now 2 weeks ago, we published. So it can be also very, very interesting, maybe for the new living lab. So it's we have now published our soil sampling protocols, and we have published them. So you can just go one by one to the next. So we have published guidelines for agriculture and forest system, and also for urban systems, to provide you with like with very just harmonized way of how to sample soils, how to process them, and how to further handle them. And with this, I want to thank you, and of course also all the collaborators which collaborated in all the work I have presented.
Right, perfect. Thank you so much, Sarah. Maybe can we have a small applause for Sarah? So maybe we can move then to the next topic, which is not this one. My bad. And I would like to actually, so this is the moment in which we are going to listen from the Living Lab speaker. So again, thank you for being here today. And I will stop sharing my screen, and I would like to invite you one by one to share your own screen. You are already in the call, right?
I can. I think we have the folder open with online.
There are a lot of transitions in my presentation. So it's,
You want to be able to. Okay, let's see. Gabriele,
Maybe send me Lena's presentation by email and I will start with Margherita later.
okay, yeah.
Sure. So the one in the folder is the most updated, right?
Do you have the latest version, right?
I hope so, yeah.
Stop sharing for a moment so people online.
Can I sit here? Do you want me to?
Yeah, you are welcome to be in front, yes.
Can you all hear me? Yes. So while we wait for the presentation, I can introduce myself. My name is Margherita. Thank you for the kind invitation to the Soil Project, to FIBOL, to TP Organics. And I work for Resoil Foundation. We are an Italian foundation based in Turin with the aim to promote soil health. So the context in which the foundation has been founded 5 years ago is exactly the one that Gabriele and the previous speakers have explained. So the urgency to soil health and to reduce soil degradation. I keep going while we wait for the.
So I'm sharing the screen, so I think you have to.
Little bit more until we get
Link in Teams.
So the foundation has 4 founding partners, which are the expertise behind our activities, and they are University of Bologna, Turin Polytechnic, Novamont, a company producing bioplastics and biochemicals, and Coldiretti. Coldiretti is the biggest Italian farmers association. I believe is one of the biggest European farmers associations with almost 1.5 million farmers associated to Coldiretti. And they are our bridge, our connection with farmers. The foundation has 4 main, thank you. Awesome, you can keep going to the probably second or third slides. Yeah, I already introduced the funding part, and yeah, we can
Foundation
speak
goals.
with the one before, please.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So just outlining for our areas of activities, and then we focus on why we are here today. So the presentation of our of the lighthouse farms who work with our foundation. So the first area of activities is to promote soil health, working in synergy with stakeholders at the local, national, and European level. I don't know if you share our experience, but we found out that there are a lot of great initiatives to promote soil health, but they are often not very well connected. So we try to facilitate the connection among projects, among stakeholders, especially in Italy, but also at the European level. And we try to do that since our foundation, as much as possible in line with the European mission Soil Year for Europe. A very important element that help us working in stakeholder engagement. You may have heard of this project, is a CSA, and part of its heritage, it's actually going to be continued by SOILL-Startup. And we are partner of Prep Soil. The project is going to finish at the end of this month. So we are at the end of our activities. The second project we are part of is called ECO, is a project of citizen science, also founded by the Mission Soil Horizon programs. It's a great project coordinated by University of Bolzan, and it aimed to get support from citizens to collect samples of, to collect data about soil quality across Europe. So the main purpose is to collect 16,500 samples, thanks to the support of citizens, to get data that will be used by the European Soil Observatory as well. So we will be able to collect data from the citizen, not only top down, as is usually done. And we are starting a new project in September, funded by the CE. program. And we also collaborate as much as possible with working group, stakeholder group promoted by other projects. This next slide. The second very important goal for us is communication and this. Oh, probably this is the oldest version of the, but that's okay, that's fine. I will replace it later. The only thing I forgot to say I added one slide, I will share the latest presentation after the event, is that the PRIP Soil project, which is going to end, as I said, at the end of this month, has developed a lot of tools for Living Lab and Lighthouse Farm. So I invite all of you to go on the website and check. You will find business model canvas for Living Labs. You will find a toolkit box with a lot of interesting documents about how to build and manage and make a Living Lab sustainable in the long term. You will find a map of Living Lab in Europe, which I believe it's going to be then reported on the SOILL-Startup website. So I really invite you. There is a mobile app that can help you make queries about soils in your area. And there is a knowledge hub as well with a lot of resources in native languages, European languages about soil. So I really invite you to check the Prep Soil website because there are a lot of interesting tools for Living Labs as well. Second goal of ReSoil Foundation is communication and dissemination. As Gabriele mentioned before, one of the pillars of the mission SOIL is to improve soil literacy. We all know that soil is often not enough protected because of a lack of knowledge. Most people are not aware of the importance of soil or about its functionality. So it's really important that we promote soil health, we increase communication, and we do that starting also from schools, not just in the academic and research sector. So we do that by organizing events and by communicating online with a very intense communication activity. A meeting that I want to highlight because it's going to be important for my next slide. We had a meeting with our Lighthouse Farm in Rome on March, and that was a very interesting time and moment to meet them and listen to their experiences. Next slide, please. Oh, we also published a report about the situation of soil in Italy, and it's all the resources are available for free download on our website. Again, soil literacy, one activity promoted by Prep Soil, a contest about best teaching practice for soil health, so school program promoted by teachers to talk about soil health at school. Resources for school also available on our website, and then other participation to event for schools. And a new virtual kit that is going to be launched next month in the context of the ECO project. Third, next slide. We also work on the policy aspect, so we monitor what happened at the policy levels and try to participate in consultation and publish position papers in order to make people aware of what's happening in terms of legislation about soils. And then we get to the topic of our today present. Next slide, please. So the fourth area of activity is connect agriculture with research and innovation, which we are learning that is not that easy, and it's often something needed by farmer and by research and innovation as well. And we have done that by building a network of lighthouse farms in Italy. We started almost 4.5 years ago. And as criteria, we use the criteria recommended by the EU Mission Soil. We have 16 lighthouse farms at the moment. They are representative of the Italian scenario. They are not only organic. Today, I will present 3 cases who are organic farmers, but we didn't select them according to the specific agricultural system. We selected them according to the land use type, the best practice for soil health adoption, participation to research and innovation project, also their role in terms of social inclusiveness and their work at the local level. and they represent the diversity of the Italian scenario in terms of regions, of farming system, and so on. As I said, we have 16 at the moment. They are all actual farmers who live, they are not research and only experimental side. They are farmers who need to make a profit from their activity. So they are actual farms, and you can find all of them on our website, and I will focus on 3 of them today. Please, next slide. The first one, as I said, today I decided to, given the contest, I decided to focus on 3 organic farmers. The first one is called Amico Bio. They are based in Campania, in the south of Italy, in a Caserta regions. You can see some pictures here, but on our website you can find also a video presenting the farm and other pictures. They are a cooperative, they produce fruits, vegetable, edible and non-edible flowers, and they cultivate according to organic farming standard. And they have a very strong focus on preserving soil health in a very difficult area. You may be aware that Italy has, in general, quite low soil quality, so the organic matter is usually below 1-2%, is usually low or very low, and it is especially in the south of Italy. So they are in a difficult area in terms of soil quality, and they work to try and preserve and improve organic matter in soil. How they do that? They do that by using organic fertilizers and reducing chemical fertilizers. They produce compost from agriculture and livestock waste produced on farm. They have both crops and livestock, and this is very important for most of our lighthouse farm. They are trying to integrate as much as possible farm agriculture with livestock. They use soil biodegradable mulch, they adopt crop rotation, and they also sell end products at the local level, and they do that by using compostable packaging, so trying to not to use plastic packaging. In terms of social inclusiveness, they also open courses for primary school and childcare. They open an agritourism, and they are very engaged in promoting training for farmers. So they also have this connective role on the territory. Next one. The second case is based in Calabria, again, a very difficult area in the south of Italy. This is not a fully organic farm, but they have organic, some organic, part of their production is organic. And they are an incredible case because they are the rice producer at the lake in the south of, they are a rice producer in the south of Italy in an area which they have huge problems of water use and management. They produce rice, horticulture, fruit, arable crops. They have livestock, and they also produce local typical products such as licorice. It's a big company, it's a 500-hectare farm, and they work a lot on recovery of problematic lands with salinization problem, again, soil with low inorganic matter. They are working a lot in water and soil fertility. And they also use compost for organic resources produced by a local composting facility. They use biochar, they work on cover cropping, and they use a cropping system in harmony with the surrounding landscape. They are also involved in a number of research projects, and so they also have a good monitoring system with different systems to monitor water use and soil quality and climatological analysis. So they are also quite advanced in terms of monitoring the activities they do. And they, as I said, they participate in research activities. And the last, you can see some photo here. There is a link to a video where they explain very well what they do, and you can find the same materials on our website. The last case, I hope I haven't exceeded too much my time. Okay, so next slide, and this is the third case. I would like to introduce today is called Vallesina Bio in the center of Italy, in the Marche region. They are a smaller farmers compared to the previous one I presented, and they are also a fully organic farm, certified organic. And again, they produce a wide range of organic crops. The interesting thing is that they convert the crops to flour, to other end products, and they sell the products again at the local level. So they are a fully integrated and multifunctional system. Again, we can see a reduction and alternatives to reduction of chemical fertilizer and use of organic fertilizer. Again, use of compost from organic waste and farm residues, including vermiculture. Use of biochar. In this case, they do mulching with shred plant residues or mulching film. They use minimum tillage and precision seedling with specialized machinery, again, cover crops, and you can see here the other best practice they adopt, and a holistic system-based approach as a general approach to the cropping system. They are also very engaged in the community in terms of social inclusiveness and other activities. They also participate into research projects, and they are also trying to promote the creation of a network of local organic producer and to communicate what they do. What we have noticed with the Lighthouse Farm is that they often do amazing things. They are really committed to what they do, but often it's difficult for them to communicate what they do, and that's normal because they are supposed to work in agriculture and not to be communicators. So what we are trying to do as a foundation is also to bring visibility to the amazing things our farmers do. And that's the end of my presentation. There is a last slide with some picture of Vallesina Bio, and that's it.
Thank you so much. Can we have an Oh, we share the screen from the, sorry.
Send it as a link.
Let's see. You didn't share that, right?
You did. I sent it to you.
Okay, different.
But there are a lot of legislations in that because
Yeah. So this one here. It's fine if you can stand there in relation to. You can control it. Yeah.
there's a clickers.
I think it's try to connect it.
No, my presentation should be an email. Just let me know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Tyler and Gabriele, for inviting me. And well, my name is Martin Soriano. I'm coming from Setema. So Setema is a technology center for environment and energy in southeast Spain, and we are involved in the EcoShells project. So that's why I'm here. So we are the soil monitoring work package leader, which has been already referred to about the importance of soil monitoring and harmonizing. And also we are the responsible of the living lab that we have called Green Domain. Please, next. And yeah, well, basically this is the outline of the presentation. I will give some context of our living lab, then the objectives. I will present the living lab, and then some key aspects of our living lab, because I understand that this gathering is important for future applicants. So I want to give some what I think is important for a living lab to be successful. So next, please. So I was saying I'm coming from Setema. We are in Cartagena, southeast of Spain, and so
we were born as a non-for-profit organization helping our local industry to become more competitive, traditionally in the areas of energy, water, and now more biorefinery and also soil and white soil as well. You will see, because we have quite a strong agricultural industry in the area of Cartagena and also in Almeria. You know about Almeria and the greenhouses, and because Almeria is also part of our living lab. So it's like a regional living lab sharing a common challenge of keeping the sector, but in a very different way that as compared as has been done in the past 40 years. And as we are here to help companies from SETEMA, so that's why now we are also moving to soil health approaches. Next, please. And well, firstly, the context of the IcoShells project. So, well, as you know, it's part of the mission Soils. The main objective was to create living labs, and here you have our contribution with 6 new living labs. So well, in Spain, this in north of Spain, Basque Country is like a mix, Spain and France. Then we have also in Greece dealing with contaminated soils. One in the north of Italy, also agricultural like our, and then in Sweden and in Bulgaria. So basically, most of our living labs are dealing with agricultural soils. But yeah, as you can see here, we have a good representation of the reality of different farming approaches in Europe. Next, please. So this is the specific context of our living lab. And so this is the area I was referring to. So this is southeast Spain. So probably one of the poorest areas traditionally in Spain in terms of resources. So it's probably the driest place in Spain. With this is the average precipitation. So this is not a mistake. So in some areas, in some years, we may have 150, but so you may be wondering why we had quite an intensive agriculture. This is because in the case of Almeria, they found like underground water like 40 years ago. And in the case of Murcia, and this is again related to this particular condition of poverty and probably low resources. So we have water coming from the north of Spain, like a pipeline coming from the Tagus River, from Rio Tajo, coming from the north to the south. And that's why we can produce vegetables in that dry area, which traditionally grows olive trees, almond trees. But this is a new thing from the last 40 years. And as you can imagine, most of the vegetables are exported to the north of Europe. Next, please. And yeah, this is one of the areas. This is the closest to the place where I live, where SETEMA is based. It's the Mar Menor Lagoon, and this is the end of the catchment. So you can see here the crops. It's a large area, irrigated, synthetic fertilizer for over 40 years, and they ended up in this lagoon. And then we have massive issues with fishes and low oxygen, also oxygen depletion. And this has been very important for the area. So not just from an environmental point of view, also from an economic point of view, as you can imagine, because there are a lot of activities depending on this. So like tourism, recreational, a lot of activities. So actually, I would say for the last 10 years in my region in Murcia, this has been probably, to me, the most important issue, not just environmental, so in general. And this is caused by a mismanagement of the soil resources of the agriculture. Next, please. And this is the other area I was referring to. So Almeria is part of Andalusia. It's another region, but geographically is basically the same in terms of climate patterns. Okay, and so yeah, I was saying that here they found like water, like underneath the soil, and then they started with the cultivation. This is the reality nowadays, with more than 20,000 hectares of greenhouses, and this is an image that you can see from the satellite image. Okay, next. Okay, so this is the context. This is so we have a farming sector that has been active for 40 years. A lot of people depending on this sector, but obviously has caused environmental issues and economical issues. So it's like the sector wants to keep going, but obviously we need to do this in a very different way. And so that's the challenge. So in terms of soil health challenges, we have all the challenges that you can imagine. So at the end, and for the application, we have to focus on, I think, organic matter depletion and biodiversity loss. But honestly, we have all the soil challenges that you can imagine. These are the core stakeholders. So SETEMA, we're the coordinators. You may know CIBA-CC, that is the National Research Organization. NIMIDA is the regional research organization. FUNCA is a foundation of a bank, which is very, very active, especially in the Almeria region and in Murcia and Coag, which is farmer representative. And well, different solution I will explain. And basically, the main objective of our Living Lab is to try to keep the farming production, but in a much more sustainable way, preventing losses and reducing the inputs in terms of water, fertilizers, and everything. Next, please. Obviously, I don't have time to focus on the solution, and also because we are the coordinators, we are not responsible for the solution implementation. But here you have like an overview of the solutions that we are starting to implement across the different sites. Something I want to highlight that here we have a mix of this is like experimental, so this and then commercial. So we have a balance contribution from commercial and experimental side, and also in terms of period management, we have both. Also, we have different approaches, so conventional, but also mixed approaches, and also fully organic. And in terms of the solutions that are going to be tested, so most of them, I think, are compatible with organic approaches, or with agroecological approaches. We have quite a lot of, so like, especially in Murcia, we have an emphasis on fertirrigation protocols, because as you can imagine, one of the main issues is with nutrients, with nitrates, with phosphate pollution. So then most of the approaches in Murcia, at least, they are connected to this. Also because we have also farmers that are growing in that area, they have a limitation by law, by specific law, regional law. So that's why also probably in Murcia we are more focused on this. Next, please. Well, this has some pictures from the facilities and test sites across Almeria and Murcia. So we have both open fields and greenhouses. Next, please. And now I'm going to focus more on this last part of the presentation, on the Living Lab, I guess, configuration. So I have to say that we are new, as you can imagine. So the project started last year, and only like 1 month ago, the 8th of May, we had the first meeting with all the stakeholders. So as you can imagine, so I don't have much information yet, but I think we are doing a good progress. So I don't know if the Living Lab is the solution for my area, but for sure we had to change something, because we couldn't continue in the same way they were continuing. So actually, the first message for when we have this meeting is to explain that Living Lab is a different approach to the previous, because all of them, they tell you, when you ask them, they say, okay, we already did co-creation, we already did stakeholder engagement, but the first message is to explain what is new with the Living Lab, right? To me, and this is a personal thing, but in general, when you go to an event, so it's like when you're invited, it's like you need to explain your guests what are the benefits for them, So that's for the stakeholder we invited. My first premise was for them to understand that they had an opportunity by being part of this community, and this is what you have here, and this is what we explain, and this is something that is already happening, because we only have this 1 month ago, and some companies, because I also invited some companies to give some pitches offering solutions. and they are already interacting, they are already accessing to some cascade funding because they didn't know about cascade funding in projects. So some small companies in Murcia, they are already, actually yesterday they wrote me, they want to apply to some cascade funding. But so to me, this is already like a success for this. So yeah, basically I presented them possibility, so access to funds, so cascade funding in our project, because we have cascade funding to include like new solution, but also in other projects. Possibility to come from consortium, because in most of the cases, at least in my region, we have quite a lot of like small companies that they are not having been exposed to EU funding, and this is probably an opportunity for them to know them and then to join a consortium. Obviously, access to key stakeholders and experts, visibility of solutions, so not just the solution that we are co-creating, but also the solution that they can offer. Okay, and access to services. So it's like we want to develop kind of soil health marketplace, like for those that want solution and those that offer solutions. And yeah, well, this is something, the tools we are going to, in the EcoShelf project, we are going to develop tools for prediction and also for the evaluation of the impact of solution. And this is something they can have access to. And this is a small thing. This is a catalog of soil health indicators that we have produced in EcoShells. And this is right there. So you explained before about benchmark. So to me, this is crucial. I mean, this is a harmonization of indicators. So this is public. So we already participated in some benchmark events. So I think we need to harmonize and we need to check what all the projects are doing and then. But it's difficult, but I think we need to do this. So next, please. I'm almost finishing. And yeah, so if you see the name is Greenomad, so it's like obviously green solutions which are innovative in a Mediterranean environment. Okay. So as soon as we started with this idea of living labs, we realized that we needed to do something different. We started with this one, actually, with this solution project. So we already created a living lab on circular fertilizers on that project, and then we had this EcoShell and said, look, it's very difficult to explain to people that this is a living lab from this project, and then this one is from so people, they are going to be lost, because in most of the cases we are inviting the same stakeholder if we are dealing with circular fertilizers. So we decided to rebrand the whole thing under the same name. We registered the trademark of this Greenomad Living Lab, and from that moment on, we just calling in that way. Still, because I know our coordinator, I don't know, Eric, you are there. Obviously, we need to keep the calling like the southeastern shell. I don't know, but yeah, in brackets, Greenomad, because I think for our stakeholders, it's much better if we always call, and we even have a logo. And then we have already the sustainability in mind, because now we have funding from the EU, but then what happened, as always, with the EU project, what happened when the project finishes. So we already have in mind that we want this to be sustainable, and we want this to be an opportunity. So then we are working, if you move, Gabriele, to the next slide, we are already working on this canvas from the prep soil. And this is actually, as you can imagine, this is a cooperative work from all my team. So I haven't been involved in this. I just wanted you to know that we are already working on this, highlighting, the value proposition. It's like what we are offering to our clients or to our members, the problems, the solutions, and the revenue streams. So very important. So to be sustainable, we need to raise funds, and then, yeah, we are like starting to explore the possibilities through sponsor to membership fees to services for the solution. So yeah, so we are at the beginning, but yeah, so it's like we wanted this to be at the beginning of the process, because then time flies, and then we finish the project, and then we need to decide what to do with this. But right from the beginning, we want this to be sustainable and to be an opportunity. And I think that was all. So you got to move to this slide. So yeah, so here you have the information of the project or myself. And yeah, thank you very much.
I would like to invite first Florence to present. Florence, can you hear us?
Yes, perfectly. And you?
Yes, we can hear you well. And I would like to invite you to share your screen if it's possible. Is it okay with your presentation?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
I can't show my screen. Oh no, okay. Sorry. It's coming. It's just a bit slow. How is it now?
Yes, now we can see.
Okay, great.
You.
So I'm Florence Arsenault, the director of FIBEL France, the Research Institute for Organic Agriculture that Gabriele already presented before. So I'm the head of the French team. Thank you everyone to inviting me to present our experience, or first a short experience with the Soil Health Living Lab. So I'm also the head of the Solvitera Living Lab that I will present now. And it's interesting just to have the presentation of Martin just before, because we have some similarity, and I shared a lot of what you said present on the key aspect and the benefits and how engages stakeholders. Well, so you will have also this kind of insight from my side. So first of all, we are part of the project named Go for All that have been launched just 1 year ago. So Solvitera is the Soil Health Living Lab in the southeast of France, in the Val de Drôme areas, and we are in network with 4 other Mediterranean living lab. Another one just nearby you, Martin, in the Altiplano Estepario, in the south of Spain, and one in Menorca, and 2 other in Greece, in the Aegean island, and in Tyrea, it's a region in the Peloponnese. So we are quite new Living Lab, because the project starts in June 24, and we officially launched Solvitera in December 24, so it's quite recent. The partner member of Solvitera are the FIBEL France and also the GRAB, which is another French organic research institute specialized on vegetable and fruit production. We have the Val de Drôme in Biovallée, which is the public body of our area. So this is the community of municipalities. We are also the Chambre d'Agriculture de la Drôme, which is the institution that provides technical and economical advice for the farmers, and Solagro, which is an institution, organization, non-profit organization specialized in agricultural transitions. So Solvitera, we focus on agricultural soil. And as we are in a region with a really diversified agriculture, we will work in different systems like arable crops and seed production, small ruminants production and poultry production, fruit production and wine production. So it's quite diverse. So it's the first challenge. We already identified the function and the service, ecosystemic services we want to address, which are the storage and management of water with the soil, the carbon storage, the organic matter within soil to keep the soil productive. And to achieve this goal, we aim to work through the relocalization of the organic matter cycle at the territorial scale, and how to use organic amendments. You saw in the previous presentation of our colleague at FIBEL in Switzerland how organic inputs are important for the soil health. So it's one of our aim, and also how to reduce the soil tillage, how to better use the cover crops, and work on the rotation and diversification with the legume. So now you kind of have a picture of Solvitera, a quick picture, but I wanted to share you a bit of context of our place, because you may ask why we started to create this Soil Health Living Lab. So I will, in the next slide, just give you a bit of context that can explain also why it's important, why the stakeholders want to involve in this process, why soil health is important for us. So we are in the southeastern France, in the regions that is called Bio-Vallée. It's a bioregion, and this is a regional project that has brought together local stakeholders for the past 30 years around ecological transition. So I think it has fostered a kind of culture of multi-stakeholder governance, and it has encouraging a lot of initiatives and experiments in the regions, and that kind of explain or has creating the right condition for achieving now a 30% of organic agriculture. That makes us leading region in organic production in France, because at the national level we have only 7% of organic agriculture, but it also helped to develop a strong local marketing and consumption of the production of the local productions. And now we just finished a process this last 4 years to define a vision for the agriculture and food system to 2050, and to support the transition and the adaptation to climate change. So the public body, which is part of our Living Lab, leads this process to gathering the stakeholders and put all the stakeholders together and define what are our vision for the food system and the agricultural production by 25 years, and how to address the climate change. And why within this vision, there are several objectives that have been defined, collectively defined and politically endorsed, which are specifically concerned soil. So that we want to increase organic farming by 70%, including 25% under organic conservation agriculture, improve soil organic matter levels, reduce by 60% the mineral fertilizer, double the area under cover crops, double the legume productions, relocalize the organic matter cycle at the territorial scale. So everything to say that even with 30% of organic agriculture, soil remain a core topic, because now we are in the context with a broader vision to address climate change, with some specific objective that address the soil health. But now you see that we need to discuss how. And then we realize that soil health cross a lot of challenges that could help us to address the climate change, and to would allow the agricultural sector to be sustainable. So this is in this context that Solvitera Living Lab was created. We see the Living Lab, Soil Health Living Lab, as a great opportunity to explore more in depth the issue of agricultural soil health. And for me, it's a kind of key issue to have the policy, the local decision making really involved and supporting a vision for the agri-food system. And we see that we are in the context with a real commitment for ecological transition and a willingness to act. So what I want to share with you is that having the public sectors involved should help to have a lot of other private or non-profit stakeholder involved, and for us it brings us like a fertile ground to address the soil health and to create the living lab. So our current focus from now for the past year was to go a bit deeper on what is the vision for the soil health, how to address soil health, what are the main challenges related to the soil to be addressed, and what are the needs of the different stakeholders. The idea then is to develop collectively a concrete action plan that will drive the future action of the Soil Health Solviterra Living Lab. So we are working and doing this through a participatory process, and we start with a consultation of a wide range of stakeholders, and progressively we'll move into a more collaborative phase with the volunteer actors that really interested into soil health to work on the medium-term implementation of the action plan. So that will lead us to engage more stakeholders into Solviterra and discuss what is the governance model of Solviterra, but what is the governance model for soil health. On the technical side, we are about to carry out 120 soil samples using the Lucas methodologies. And it's interesting because we will be able to compare previous samples that have been made 30 years ago. So it's quite exciting, and we also will be able to do it within 20 or 10 years. And we also closely work with the farmers. So the next activity we will start in the autumn is a co-design process. So that means that we identify challenges and the needs of the territories at the territorial scales, and what could be the possible solution to address at a territorial level. And now we want to go a bit deeper at the farm level. What are the solutions to be that could be developed, more developed, or more or tried new solution, and the idea is to implement 15 on-farm trials on 2 consecutive years, and the topic of the trial will be decided directly with the farmers we will work for. Of course, with these trials, we will also work on different knowledge sharing and workshop and trainings about soil health. For instance, we identified that it's not so easy to sample the soil. So it's interesting to so that benchmark, for instance, just published a protocol for sampling. It's quite neat because the technician and the researcher in our territories already identified that that's not so easy to sample the soil, to have a qualitative analysis, and then how to interpret the analysis. So that's, for instance, a kind of activity we will develop in the next year. And as Martin said, we also have the economic side, because now we have the funder of the EU, but how to continue, because soil health, it's a long investment. No, it's not only a matter of a 5-year project. So how Solviterra could be sustainable on the long term, on the further years. But we also use and start to work on business model for a territorial solution, for specific solution. For instance, how, if we want to use better quality organic matter it might be possible that would be interesting to develop a compost platform, and then we need a business model for that. Or for instance, how to have a collective equipment for sorting the seeds, or how to produce our local seed for the cover crops and sort the seeds after. And these are different kinds of solutions that can be collectively addressed, and not only one farmer will address alone. And that's how we also will work on business model for specific solution to be addressed on the collective approach. And of course, there are challenges, and it's not so easy. And for instance, as we previously heard, engaging and mobilizing the local stakeholder is a major challenge. Why would people get involved in SOILL-Terra? It's a real question. From a very pragmatic point of view, the time invested by the participants are voluntarily for the moment. So they need to have something that make their time valuable and that make interesting. So we aim to create lasting alliance on the long term. So it's a real challenge, but we already think that SOILL-Terra, because we built a collective vision and action plan, could also work as a kind of label to help attract funding for the partnerships and support the different stakeholders on the implementation of the actions and solutions we collectively define. Another challenge we want to address on the technical part would be to develop organic conservation agriculture. So it's quite a huge challenge at a technical level. And the last challenge, it's of course the economic part, because soil health is a long-term investment for the farmers, and they need to have the farm the viable on the economic side on the short term. So it's essential to work not only on technical solution, but also on the economic opportunities and the market access of the product that the farmer are producing in a sustainable way, and involving and investing on soil health. And that's it for me. Thank you for listening. I guess there will be some question on the panel discussion. We have created an email if you want to contact SOILL-Terra, and you also can reach me by my professional email. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Florence. To invite Lena on stage. And in the meantime, I just wanted to check if everybody here in the online is with us. Can you click on the reaction button and just like select one random reaction to see if you are active? Yes, I see some hands up. Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, would it be possible if she advances the slides, if we set the laptop right here and she can...
Oh, yes.
The PDF will work.
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just sharing the screen.
I sent PDF because they're not position and PDF. I resend because I really like my transitions, but it doesn't work in the settings, I believe. Hi everyone. My name is Lena Madden, and I am a part of the project SOILL-Critis, and a lead and manager of SOILL-Critis Ireland Living Lab. So yeah, the name is, everybody always commenting on the name. Our coordinator came out with that. So it's basically we're looking at not only at soil, but at philosophy of the soil, how
how we can improve it, not only for now and not only with in experimentation, but going forward as well. So we have, it's a European project funded through Mission Soil. We have about 21 partners, and in Spain, Ireland, and France, there are 3 universities, one university in each country, and then 3 universities in Netherlands. We have local authority, which led the project is led by a local authority, and we have a lot of farming organization and farming social structures present. Now, as I said, the project is led by the province of Friesland and scientifically coordinated by Van Hal Larsen University in the north, in Leeuwarden, north of Netherlands. Yeah, and in the Socrates project, we have 4 living labs. Again, Netherlands, Spain, France, and Netherlands, Spain, and Ireland. Forgot myself. And we started in October 24, so we're very, very early in. Main objective is objective 6 for the living lab, is to improve the structure through the improvement of biodiversity. And then we're looking also at the carbon storage, at the soil literacy, and reduction of soil pollution, and improving irrigation. We're going to have about between 10 and 15 projects per living lab funded to the farmers to investigate different type of soil health measures that we co-design and co-create with them. So the project main point is that we're not leading it for farmers. We co-leading it, and we listen to them, and they are at the center of everything and taking decision on the structure, government models, and different aspects of the project, because we believe that is the only way to get farmers engaged in the overall soil improvement practices. I'm going to briefly talk about each of the living labs funded through Socrates. One of them in Netherlands, they actually already had an existing living lab and built on it while applying for the project. It located in 3 different areas of Netherlands, and again, they had already 50 farmers, 3 provinces, local authorities, companies, NGOs, research institutions, and they came together to keep their good work going. The challenge is the soil structure and reduction of use of fertilizer, increasing biodiversity, and compaction is a very important challenge, I think, everywhere. Then French Living Lab, led by Senam University, and located at the south of France. They have university, 2 farmers organization, local authorities, companies, and research organizations. And again, soil structure. And in France, it's slightly different to the north of Europe. It's irrigation and drainage through the soil, and they want to improve it through the enhancement of soil biota and different type of crops. In Spain, again, the living lab located in the province of Granada. The main crop is olives and orchards, and some other crops. And again, as we approach it in a quadruple helix approach, we will have university farming organizations, local authorities, and different type of industry. They also have problem with compaction and want to improve irrigation through organic amendments. So as you can see, we all, and as per usual, I forgot about Ireland. Led by Technological University of the Shannon, that's where I work. Mostly in Ireland, we have grasslands, dairy and beef, some shape, but it's about 95% of agriculture. Very small, about 5% of agriculture would be arable or horticultural farms, which produce cereal and some maize, but mostly it's fodder for animals. So again, we have 3 farmer association, 3 county councils participating, industry. We got our Department of Agriculture involved on advisory basis, and as you can see, everything goes to soil structure, compaction, water logging, which we will try to improve through the increase of organic matter in soil and other techniques. So in Ireland, I'm gonna go back to Socrates, Ireland. We have 5 partners officially in the project, which is Technological University of the Shannon. We have Loophead Together, which is local citizens initiative in Loophead area. In the same area, we have Wild Atlantic Hemp is our lighthouse that is very proactive. They grow hemp, but they're also very proactive in the area of organic amendments. We have Jordan Community Farm that both serve function as a societal lead on the lighthouse, because they have farmed, they have actually cereal and vegetable farm there, and then Ballyhara Development Unit in the Limerick region that leads local farmers from the social perspective, organizing them on board and for the project. Just wanted to show a little bit of on location. So Ireland, as everybody knows, very green, a lot of grassland, and this is basically 3 location. We are in a geographical notch 21, I think. All 3 counties, so basically we are right in there, and we want to in time expand obviously to different regions to get farmers from different locations involved. But at the moment, for these 4 years, we're focusing on our 3 counties. And what type of soil do we have? I just put a little bit of a map of soil in Ireland from the point of view of compaction, water logging, drainage levels, levels of organic soil, organic matter, organic carbon. And here we're located in the area where we have clay and sand. So we're basically working on the mineral soil, okay? Mineral soil with high compaction level, with water logging, and kind of low to very low levels of organic carbon. And you say, how could this be? Because you have grassland. So your organic carbon should be quite high. Yes, it should be, but when we engaged in the intensive farming and use a lot of heavy machinery, and a compaction level is so high that your organic that your roots of the plants do not get the chance to penetrate soil, and constant circle of fertilizer and liming kill all the biodiversity in the soil. then even having grasslands, we back to the square one of low organic carbon level, low organic matter and carbon level. So as a living lab, what we planned at the very beginning, so we had 2 lighthouses, 3 community organization. It was 1 academic partner, which was TOOS, 4 local national governments. As we said, we approach it in a quadruple helix. And then we had agricultural advisory companies, fertilizer producers, and other companies. And we hope to have about 100 members by the end of the living life of this project, and start expansion to different regions of Ireland to basically engage farmers from different areas. And after 6 months, what do we have now? We have onboarded 123 farmers. That I think was amongst other academic and fertilizers company. I think that the biggest achievement was that we onboarded 123 farmers. So we much beyond our expectations. Now, not all of these 123 farmers are going to be active members, but as long as they can listen and participate in educational events, I'd say at the moment we have about 50 to 70 farmers in 3 regions that are there for every co-creation sessions, that want to work, that want that really care about their soil quality, that want to work on soil improvement, and very proactive. And yeah, so and we're also looking through different projects to expand into different areas and get farmers involved, because since we started Living Lab, we get a lot of interest from all over Ireland to join and to participate in the Living Lab and the pool. So to talk a little bit about challenges. Yeah, challenge main Ireland is not like South or continental Europe. We have a lot of rain, okay, and in combination with very heavy soil compaction, that causes a lot of waterlogging. And you know, from working with farmers, what we found, it's either drainage. If they're in the hill, they don't have this problem, but not if hills are not everywhere. If it's a flat area, people have a lot of problem. How we're going to try to solve it? I put some solution in here, some examples, but through the project, our academic and working with our academic partners, we have created about 35 soil improvement practices as a practice sheets for farmers that we will introduce to them. Well, they are already introduced, started being introduced slowly and discussed at the sessions, and they will decide what they want to do with their soil, what they want, how they want to approach, what is the what do you think is more suitable for their specific farm. But in general, there is a large interest in cover cropping, composting. If in the biochar.
Yes. Move the mouse off.
Right. Yeah. Biochar and also circular solution. That's my favorite one. It's when not one, but a number of different practices implemented at the same farm, because I believe that in the complex systems as soil or farming, anything that we do with nature, one solution never works, because it's like plugging when you have 25 holes and you're trying to plug one, the things gonna start coming out more at the other ones. So most of farmers are interested in a complex solution, like use of biochar with cover cropping, and we're working on design of experiments for them, and they are working on application for this project. The other problem is overuse of nitrogen. So as everywhere, in order to produce more crop, grass is a crop because we feed our animals with grass, we have a never-endless cycle of NPKs and liming afterwards. Okay, because overuse of artificial fertilizer, it alters soil pH, and as a snowball, then it affects biodiversity and nutrient absorption. So what is being done? The lime is being added to soil to increase pH. And what I say to our farmers at the co-creation session is like taking your children to McDonald's all the time. Keep giving them sugar, and then and then over time you have to start giving them insulin to combat that sugar. So that's your NPKs and lime. So we need to look at something, and trying to work with farmers to make them to make them understand and believe that quick solutions that you can see results in the same year not always the most viable, and that everything good takes time and effort. So we started Living Lab. The first was on the 19th of November, and that was 28th of March, when we basically worked with partners from our group to start settling the government model, and then we opened the Living Lab to the world on the 28th actually of April, and we started working in all 3 locations with farmers, trying to get their idea what their problems is, what would be their solution, what would be their interest. And because farming is a business, it's not only about soil, it's about their livelihood. So we at the moment trying to create solution for them that will improve their livelihood and improve soil quality at the same time. And our success, I think, also was achieved through our very successful dissemination policy, because we went to all national stations and papers, farming journals. We started from the scratch, created our own website where all the information is available. And but the nitty-gritty of it, of the science, I wasn't talking about it today. Of course, we're working on our soil health indicators list, and we're looking at benchmark projects work. We're looking at Lucas project for policy. We also created a farmer toolbox for farmers where they can basically learn how to assess the soil quality on the land themselves, again coming from different sources, and different tests would be applicable in the different countries, and whichever the farmers are comfortable with. And while doing that, we're also establishing our governance model. How will Living Lab work going into future, not only in these 4 years, and in the next year we're going to start working on the business modeling of the whole Living Lab as an organization beyond project. So this is us. Thank you very much.
I would like to tell you that we are a little bit in delay with the agenda. We are going to have a break just now, so we can take 10 minutes. And then we get back, we are going to have a panel discussion with the different Living Lab speakers. And yeah, probably we are going to shorten it a little bit, and then we are going for the pitching session. So thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Everyone online, we'll see you back then.
See you. Thank you.
Let's see. So for everyone online, I think I'm in the camera that's active here. So we're just setting up for the panel discussion, and yeah, speakers will be invited to join us here. I think Lena is just using the restroom. She'll be right back.
Okay, and maybe can we
Yes,
see Florence as well?
Yes.
Yeah, Florence, we can see you, but
I'm
yeah,
here.
would be nice. Yeah, to have Florence pinned. So as we are preparing for the panel discussion, I would like to invite the speaker to the front. So as you can see, we have 3 chairs for the 3 speaker here, and Florence joining online. And to the rest of the audience here in the room, I would like also to invite you, if you have any question during the panel, to raise your hand. We have already a few topics that we would like to discuss, and if there is time, we will definitely try to harvest some question in the audience.
Or face to face.
Yes. All right, so we can start. And thanks again for your insightful presentation. Maybe I would like to start with one question to Margherita. And the question is, could you explain a little bit more in detail what is a lighthouse in your living lab and what is different from an experimental site, and how these two work together and collaborate together?
So in our case, as I mentioned during my presentation, we decided to work with commercial farmers, which is challenging on one side. And so, as I say, they are farmers who need to make a profit from what they do because they live out of that. And at the moment, we have only commercial sites in the network. And I believe they should be part of a living lab also because of their role in the local community. So they can really be a crucial facilitator in terms of dissemination in the territory. We have done a lot of open days within the Lighthouse Farm, which are amazing because you invite people and they really understand what the project is doing, what they are doing. You invite schools in the farm, and they really get a feeling of what's happening. So I believe the Lighthouse Farm role is crucial, yes, to test research and innovation activities, but is also crucial as a connector with the civil society, with the local authority, which is also should also be part of the living lab. And the other important role that I believe the Lighthouse have, and we need to facilitate that role because it's not always easy to get academia, research and innovation sitting at the same table with the farmers, because often they speak a different language. So another role that I believe the Living Lab has to play is to connect and make it easy, really help understand the mutual needs of the Lighthouse Farm and of the research in order to really co-create and find joint solutions that can be applied to commercial farms. And the other role the Lighthouse should have, in our view, is to help replicating the best practice they decided to adopt, that are adopted in the Living Lab, so that other farmers in the area can really understand in an easy way what the best practices are, what the impacts are, and decide to adopt similar practices, so that this can really become eventually, step by step, a common practice.
Thank you very much. And then maybe I would like to pass to Florence 1 second. Florence, Solviterra is a pretty new living lab. It's like a young living lab, let's put it this way. And I was wondering, what are the strategies to engage farmers and other key actors that you would like to involve? Could you share a little bit more in details? Like you mentioned already something in the presentation, but Thank you.
So you mean how to engage more the farmers into the process of the living lab? This is the question.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is a good question. In our case, what we are lucky is, and also is challenges, is because of our context of long engagement and mobilization of local stakeholders for the ecological transition. We are lucky to have a lot of farmers that are already testing, having initiative. We have a lot of different stakeholders that addressing organic agricultures or organic ecological transitions. So it's kind of, they're used to be involved in this process, consultative process, participatory process. So, and it's not new, but it's also challenges because they're kind of sometimes fatigue, because they are always invited to events to discuss about the vision, to discuss of what are the challenges for the water management, for the climate change transition, for ecological transition, and so on. So now we are working at a territorial level. So we are working with stakeholders, different institutions, to understand what are the way they're working with the farmers, what are the projects they're already working with the farmers, what are the needs of the farmers, and then with a broader vision and understanding of the ecosystem around soil health, the idea is then to provide to go directly with the farmers, to identify some farmers and go directly on the farm to discuss with about the living lab. So it's time consuming, but it's really important to go discuss with the people. And inviting to events the farmers, it's not so easy. For instance, now it's really not the moment to invite and work on workshop with the farmers. So we will wait that on the winter, the farmers that are more available. And before that, we will go more on the farm with also technical advisors that are in regular contact with the farmers to discuss about soil and what are the practices they are already implementing or would like to implement. So it's the first point is to meet people. No. A second point is also to be careful of the agricultural season, so not organizing workshops during the summer or the spring, of course, but wait for the winter. It seems obvious, but sometimes with the time frame of a project, it's not always easy to fit the milestone, the deliverable we have, and then there is the season, no, the agricultural season. So we have to arrange a bit that. And then I think that also working with the economic sectors, it's important, or it's will support us to reach the farmers, because the cooperative, for instance, they're really key actors for the economic part. But if the farmers are willing to invest or try new practices, they also need to be secure for the economic part. So working through and with the economic sectors and the cooperative, it's a key point for us, I would say. And then the one thing that we do is also the co-design of the on-farm trials. So as other colleagues already said, that we have the possibility to have cascade funding to implement solution. And then the idea is really to discuss with the farmers that are interested to try a new solution they have to define what solution they want to implement. We will not So I think it's also an incentive for them to have the support, scientific and technical support, but also financial support to be able to implement some new practices or solution. And the financial part, it's important because it can support a risk they take, or it can support an investment for new equipment, for instance. And yeah, that would be.
Thank you very much, Florence, and sorry if I stop you there. It's quite a
Right.
diverse set of strategies that you're implementing to reach the target groups.
Yeah, Gabriele, and may I, just because we had a question about cascade funding earlier in the chat. So Martin mentioned it in his presentation, and I might then ask him to explain it for those who aren't familiar. And then perhaps if you wanted to reply to anything that about engaging farmers as well. Just wanted to flag this question that came up in the chat.
Yeah, well, we are now in the process of preparing the first call, the first internal cascade funding call in the IcoShell project. I think it will be published by the end of this year. So it's a mechanism that was introduced or has been introduced in some topics to attract, in this case, new solutions when probably they are not identified or available proposal stage. And that was actually our case. So we're supposed, I think, at each Living Lab to identify like 12 to 15 solutions. And as you know, when you're preparing a proposal, it's very difficult to sometimes identify that many solutions. So that we had this mechanism. So we identified, I think, 10 per Living Lab, and then we had room for incorporating like 2-3 more for each Living Lab through this cascade funding approach. So we decided to go for that because it's only when you start working is when you realize about all the challenges. And now we are in the process of asking ourselves how we would improve our Living Lab, and we are going to use this information for this application. So applications are going to be targeted to the specific needs of each Living Lab. So yeah, so it's a mechanism that you can include in some topics, not all the topics, but some topics this needs to be written, and then is basically there's an open call, and then I think those winning this call, they become part, or they become members of our project, and in this case offering like a new solution for each of the Living Lab. I think it's at least 3 new solutions are going to be added to each Living Lab.
Thank you so much. I was wondering if I wanted to ask a question to Lena about impact. Like, how do you measure the impact of the activity that you do? And also if you can say something about the monitoring framework, the indicators to measure soil health. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So impact, there are different type of impacts that Living Lab can produce. This is soil health impact, there are socioeconomic impact, there is impact on ecosystem services. So to all of these impacts, we, through the project, we're designing assessments, okay? So for the, say, indicators of soil health specifically, we're looking into both benchmark project for the overall soil health indicators. We're looking at Lucas project for the indicators for policy. We have 3 different levels of indicators and who they are, who are there for. Okay, so scientists would want to have a very broad range of indicators to assess it very comprehensively. Then for policy, we would have a set of indicators that will summarize that we technically got what Lucas project was using. And then we're looking for the farmers as well. So how will they know about the soil health? So we're designing the set of indicators and the measurement techniques specifically for farmers. And then also there's socio-economic impact. Okay, socio-economic impact. We have a specific work package in the Socrates project, when the social scientists and economists from all 4 countries will come together, and they're going to be conducting meetings and interviews with participating farmers, assessing how each of the practice impact their livelihood, how how does it impact their social, mental, and economic well-being. I think the co-creation sessions are the ones that we conducted now are very important, because what we started seeing is a number of older farmers participating in them. And I think these sessions, they serve as well as a soil health co-creation session, they serve as social events for the farming community, because in Ireland, say farming community is aging. It's very difficult to attract young people to do farming, and it's a mental health, some sort of support as well. So people are interested, people coming to talk to the neighbors of what is happening in my farm, in my region, and so that would be very good and interesting part of the project as well. And they're also ecosystem services indicators. Okay, so that's the third part of indicators when we assess the soil, assess the economic well-being, but how our measure is going to impact the overall system. So we're going to be looking at water quality in the catchments that surround the farm. We're gonna do we're designing the kind of more novel drone and satellite analysis of the specific area to see how those affect the plant health. I know that it's very difficult to assess everything that needs to be in one 4-year project. So we're looking at the indicators that will give us for the ecosystem services anyway, the most of the overview and indication of the impact. And at the same time, we'll provide data for our AI model. That's the other thing that we have in the project, AI and data management. We're creating platform, and we hope that it will collaborate with different platforms, with different living labs to basically get the computer model to assess everything, bring everything together, and monitor the soil health that way. So then in the future, when we have indicator in the test and we put it in the system, we don't need to spend a lot of time analyzing what is happening in the whole system. So yeah, that's the other part of it. So there's a lot of technicalities happen in the background, and hopefully, that's going to result in something.
Thank you for the overview of the indicators. Maybe I just wanted to link to Martin, because also during the presentation you actually mentioned about the need to streamline and also to make a coherent way in which we assess the soils. Can you tell us a little bit about your approach in measuring soil health and the impact?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first point very important is something that I highlighted from the beginning as soil scientist, that, in a 4 years project where you spend almost a year deciding on the solutions and taking the baseline assessment. So it's almost impossible to test if a solution is better than the other. This is for sure. But I think this is like kind of, I wouldn't say excuse, but obviously we shouldn't forget that the main target of this project are to create living labs, and that's the main thing, to stakeholder engagement techniques to attract farmers. That's the main objective. So probably even myself, I'm doing the exercise of forgetting a little bit about the scientific part, because so it's impossible. So we need to give the first set of indication of the best performing solution in, I don't know, in half a year. It's almost impossible because with only one year in the best case, and even some solutions, they haven't been selected because they are going to arrive with cascade funding. So that's the first point. But I assume this, and I think the main objective of this project is to set up the living labs, even though we need to work hard on harmonization. To me this is very clear because I've already learning about different approaches from different projects on selecting indicators. We haven't done our selection benchmark. I mean, we are connected, but still we need more connections because this is one of the main, I guess, objectives of the Commission is for us as project at the local side to let them know about which property we need to consider, and this is something that we need to discuss. And as I was discussing before, that this deliverable that we published about the catalog of the, because we are going to have a common set of soil properties that we are going to analyze across all the living labs, like 12 indicators. And on top of that, each living lab, obviously, they're going to analyze their specific indicator because, I don't know, in Greece, for example, they are focused on remediation after mining activity. Of course, they are going to be focused on heavy metals and remediation, and we're going to be focused on sustainable agriculture. So there are different approaches, but common set of indicators. But then these indicators, they need to be responsive in the short time. They need to be available across all the living labs because I want all the living labs, it doesn't matter if you are in Bulgaria or you're in Sweden, you're in Spain, to be able to analyze those indicators. But then another question is the methodology. Okay, say we agree on this indicator, but the next question is which methodology are you using? We are proposing a methodology, but then in each place they are using a different one. So this is the next question now that we are having, the methodology that they are put, because if we want to compare results, because we need this information for replication and for modeling, as she was mentioning. We also have a modeling platform similar to what you mentioned. So this is another interaction that we have to do. So the idea is the same. So it's like be able to predict the performance of a soil management practice in a place without the need of measuring anything, just to use the modeling. So obviously we need to collaborate because there's a basic principle of modeling that you cannot represent a variability that is not represented in your model. So you need to represent the model. So
No, thank you very much. I see actually all the panelists nodding, so I would like to harvest a little bit more about this. How do you feel how this coordination should happen? Like, what are the suggestions?
I think it should be more events when we all come together in the same room and share. So basically, living labs. Okay, put us in the same room. Let us talk to each other, because the share, like I can see that everybody's doing their own thing, and you have your 12 base indicators, well, our 17 base indicators from Locus project, and then the same for the rest of them are based on the project that will be selected. So we're kind of selecting a list of indicators that can potentially be used. But we cannot say, oh, we're going to be using this specific one, because if each indicator is predicated on the project that will be get funded through our FSTP call as well, because we have a similar call, and before we're funded through the project, we don't know what is the purpose of it. So we're kind of, at the moment, we're at the broad, we're designing the broad measures to narrow them down at the end, but we need to come together and basically collate it and share notes with each other. And I know that guys in Netherlands, the one that design and who lead the task of the design, they go between different projects and they compare, they talk to people, but that is happening kind of on the background. We had the kind of joint conference of living life, knowledge sharing, just teach and learn from each other. That would be great.
That's a valuable point. Thank you. And maybe any further thought from Margherita about this?
A very short comment, switching the focus on the farmers, because usually they don't really, some of them do monitor the soil quality, but most of them don't, or they do every now and then, every 5 years, unless it is mandatory according to certain farming system. But it's a very different scenario. So the methodology, in our experience working with farmers, is really crucial, because we are also developing a protocol for ours. We have 6 farmers, so we can also find the resources to help them monitor, but it's a small group. So the point is, okay, we decide the indicators, but then how you really broaden the methodology across farmers, so that this can become more common, because then out of a funded project, out of a living lab, how can you really help farmers monitor what they do? So the methodology is crucial, and also understand how to found the monitoring system for farmers is, in my view, really important.
Thank you for your feedback. I just wanted to get back to Florence and ask her about, like in this process of setting up the living lab, you have different stakeholders. And I'm wondering how you manage the conflicting interests that you might have from the different target groups that you want to involve. Like, I don't know, researcher, farmers, and scientists. So they might have different needs and approaches.
I couldn't answer now because it's coming. I mean, now for the beginning, like as you say, we are just starting. So now we are just explaining what is Living Lab. We are identifying the needs and the challenges, and then the different conflict of interest will appear later when we will have to implement, or we would like to select what are the priorities. Then the conflict can appear at that moment. So I can't answer how we manage it now.
We are not yet there, but any other contribution about this topic, about how to bring together different target groups? Can you share some experience, especially keeping in mind that our audience is new applicants, so they will go through the same process that you went through. So what would you advise to new applicants?
In our case, for example, we count in agroecology, we count with Gaia. Gaia, they are members of ENOL that you mentioned before, and it's very useful to have them on board. We invited, for example, them to the first meeting in Murcia for them to explain what is a living lab. And the first thing is about open innovation, and put, not the farmer, because here we are talking all the time about the farmers. Here, all the members of the helix, also the administration, so everyone, and to put them in the for them to be actors, no factors. Like, because in the past, as scientific organization, we were used to run a project and then invite stakeholders to present the results. But here, the focus is totally the opposite. So they participate on the results and they take decisions. And this is the first, probably one of the main challenges for them to understand that this is open innovation. And then we need to explain and understand what is open innovation about, and that we are all benefits for the open innovation, because the conflicts arise when, it's like my benefit and it's against your benefit. But then here it's like we try all of us to be benefit by this approach. So this is something still that is evolving, and we need to understand and communicate.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
I can just add for the new applicants, when you are thinking how to set up a living lab and answer to a call, I think what is crucial is how to involve stakeholders that are directly in contact with the farmers, because if you only with scientific and policymakers, then you can't reach the final target you want to involve, and then also to identify the problem and also how to treat this problem. You need to really involve, for instance, the technicians, advisors. That's really key people that are in always contact with the farmers, you also that are the one that sometimes take the sample of soil that send it to the lab, and then there are key people and these advisors come from non-profit organization, but also sometimes from economic organization, for instance, the technician of a cooperative. And they are really key people at the link with the farmers, the producers, but also for the commercializations.
Thank you for the feedback. And just moving slightly the focus on a different topic, I was wondering how you envision to influence with your practices, like the policy locally. Maybe Margherita, you want to start?
Okay, again, we are not a funded project, so it's a bit more difficult. So for us to respond, I mean, I believe that the project, they would have a work package dedicated to those policymakers. At the local level, and also it depends on in Italy, for example, soil is managed by regions mainly or by council. So it also depends on the level of administrative bodies that has the role to make decisions on soil. So when you talk about local authorities, often they are not really aware of the big picture about soil. So it's really important to be able to involve them in the conversation and discuss how, again, co-create, co-decide how the local administration can support soil health. What we try to do when we work in a project or outside of a project is to organize events where we can all sit down and discuss the local issues and try to discuss potential solution, and also to facilitate access to information. So if we develop, if we test best practice, we try to develop a protocol that can be easily communicated with some advice also based on monitoring, and we try to summarize information on accessible documents and provide them to local bodies so that they can make informed decision. And again, open the discussion and participation to join events so that via a table discussion.
Okay, thank you so much. Do we have any question from the chat or from the audience here? Yes, one question.
Thanks for the presentations. They were really enlightening. I had a question a little bit about what you were mentioning, Martin, which I think also is related to mentions that the rest of you have said about synchronization and harmonization of digital tools. And there's a lot of information and data out there. How is this uptake, one, being done by the end users, which are largely farmers, agronomists and such? And then are different people developing different tools? Are they quite different from your sort of experience? Is there a way to find more compatibility so there aren't a vast variety of tools? Because I think this becomes the challenge, and one person's developing one, another person's developing one, then you have this huge assortment which can prevent people that can be digitally averse anyway, where it becomes overwhelming. How are you guys addressing that problem?
Who would you like to ask the question?
I was Martin, but it would be wonderful to hear other inputs if anyone wants to contribute.
Yeah, so, but are you asking, I mean, the tools between the different projects? Because I'm not aware about how they are developing how the other projects are developing tools. I'm probably aware of the tools which are available so far in the market, and to be honest, the approach that we are targeting is like the happy idea of a new management practice comes into testing, and then you can it's like you can indicate the farming this is going to work or not. This is at least how I see this, because obviously you cannot have a definite answer on no do this because it's going to work, or do this because this is going to work, but you can have an indication. I mean, how we are approaching, we are still in the process of collecting what we call the baseline analysis, so we still don't have information. So my approach has been to try to analyze the same things across all the living labs, because otherwise it's going to be impossible to develop a tool and to use the same methodology to report with the same units. So we have been working, personally, I've been working quite a lot on trying to have this in place, because otherwise it's going to be impossible. Then develop our tool, and then at least for our living labs, because I was explaining before, we cannot try to model a variability which is not included. So let's start with our living lab, and then once we develop our tool, then we can then look to which information is available from other tools, and then try to integrate. But I'm not sure if we will be able to integrate the information, because probably they have used other indicators, they have used other methodology. But at least for our stakeholders, we are already explaining them that this is going to happen, and we are going to try to develop a tool, and it has been very well welcomed by them, because one of the main challenges we have with this kind of approaches is that farmers, they don't want to wait for 10 years to know about the impact of a set of management solutions. He wants to know, or she wants to have an indication in the short term if this is going to work or not, because otherwise. So this is our intended contribution, that to let the farmers know if they are in the right path with a management practice, of a set of management practices. I don't know if I answered your question, but
it's very helpful.
I just wanted to add to that, if you don't mind, Gabriel, that there should be, I think it's, we need to ask SOIL project to organize this event for our people who develop the platform to have collaboration, because I do understand, like I understand Mark's point that we will have our, we might look at slightly different indicators, but majority of indicators that are the same, right? So it would be I think it would be very important from the outset to connect people who involved in the data modeling platform. So I know it's not in the work packages, because we all wrote our individual projects. We didn't even know that SOIL is going to be existing at that time when we were writing our proposal. So we didn't write it into our work packages, but I think scientists are flexible. So if you say to people who are working on the data management platforms that would you once in 3 months go into the same room and discuss what you're doing, that will benefit everyone. And I think maybe if we could ask SOILL-Startup to organize this workshops for our data scientists as soon as possible, that would be great. And thank you for very good
Build
question.
it from the ground up, not the other way around. The hard part.
Yeah, thank you for the question and the answer. Thank you so much. I think I would like to ask like a couple of 100 questions more, but I think in the interest of time, we need to move to the next session.
Yes. I just wanted to mention, so especially for the people online, I really wanted to be a bit more active and to give you the chance to ask questions, but I think we'll carefully go through. So please, if there are especially burning questions that you haven't written in the chat already, go ahead and do so, and then we'll try to find a workable way that maybe the speakers can also take a look at some of the key questions and reply after the event, and we'll certainly follow up with all the information in a follow-up email. So please don't hesitate, and I'm sorry that you didn't get the chance maybe to ask. We didn't get the chance to ask it to the speakers, but we want to give you some time to hear the pitches from people present with us and online. So I think we better move on to to that part. And Gabriele, should we quickly show the
Absolutely, yes.
the funding topics?
Yeah.
Just to
Oh, yeah, sorry. Let's have a big applause.
Okay, so I'm going to do this very quick before we switch. So for those who may not be experienced in this game of the EU funding calls and topics that come each year, there's this whole section on the mission soil, and there are different topics in there, but it's quite simple to explain that there are two calls. So one of them is has a budget for the brownfield redevelopment is 12 million for one foreseen project, and then there's a total of 36 million for the continental, boreal, and alpine regions focus. So each 3 projects of 12 million euros each, and these are the key living lab, like the key funding for the living labs that will apply in this cycle. So especially if these topics are something that those present are working on, interested in, then definitely I think try to use today as a way to meet potential partners and get in touch. And I think I won't go into the full detail. We're going to send the slides and also links to how to find this information, the official European Commission sites on it. I think it was shared in the last email as well, if you check that. But I want to save most of the time for us to hear for the pitches. And I don't think that besides this, I have a lot to add anyways of what's shown here for the moment. So let me actually unpin the and for Florent as well. Sorry, where is it? Okay, and then Gabriele, I think now if we can share the pitch presentation. So we'll just indicate which speaker. I think you'll see your name, and I welcome you to unmute. So for first, Greg Hardy, please go ahead and introduce yourself, and you can start off with your pitch, and try to keep it please to a couple of minutes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for this opportunity. So my name is Brieux Hardy. I'm a soil scientist at the Walloon Agricultural Research Center in Belgium. And I would like to present you shortly a project that is nicknamed SOILL-AB. So you can go back, please, a few seconds. So it's dealing with soil management in organic farming, which practices to improve soil ecosystem services. And the project will start soon, so in October 2025. And I really believe that the project as designed meets the scope of the Soil Mission Living Lab in many aspects. So my hope is to be able to connect with similar initiatives across Europe. You can go on, please. Can you move to the next slide, please? So the project relies on a network of fields organized in 3 levels. So first we have one lighthouse farm, which is a 6 years ongoing field experiment comparing cropping system in arable cropping. So the second level includes a network of 8 farmers testing conservation organic agriculture. And the third level is a network of 40 farms under arable cropping or lay arable cropping systems. And then the network will include a gradient of practices from very intensive irrigated vegetable cropping systems to more extensive lay arable rotations. So the first 2 levels aims to test innovative and quite risky economically farming practices, whereas the third level aims to bring representative organic farming soil references to the farming sector. Next slide. please. And so we will follow up two types of indicators. So first, we want to follow soil indicators related to four main soil ecosystem services, which are biomass production, climate regulation, water cycling, and biodiversity. And as we aim to interpret soil indicators regarding farming practices, we will determine indicators for farming practices, including soil cover, crop diversity, organic matter inputs, and mechanical soil disturbance. Next slide, please. And so about the partners, we have first farmers, which are the first field actors. Then we have Bio Wallonie, which is an advisory structure for the organic farming sector. Then we have two universities with several soil specialists, especially on soil biology. And then we have the Walloon Agricultural Research Center with an expertise in setting up agricultural field trials and in participatory research and evaluation of soil health. So thank you very much. I'm done, and I would be delighted to connect with people leading similar initiatives.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I think it's all in one presentation. Gabriele is going to try loading the next one.
Okay. So I just want to talk about Naturland as a potential consortium partner. My name is Monimele Spickenheuer, and I work in the project management team of Naturland. Naturland is an association for organic farming. So we are based in Germany, but we operate internationally, and we have members internationally. You can go to the next slide, please. So Naturland is kind of a unique farmers association because we work, first and foremost, of course, we are certified. So we only work with organic farmers and we certify them and build up capacity for them to improve their productivity and allocate premium prices for their products. So Naturland has over 40,000 members across 60 different countries and has recently put a strong focus on project work. So we have professionalized project work and we are actively designing projects. Also, we're collaborating to Horizon Europe projects and have been a consortium partner in many other projects. So for our farmers, we are in close contact with our farmers all around the world. The challenges when it comes to soil are probably the same as there are for many farmers around the world: loss of organic matter, degradation, and so on and so forth. This presentation is a bit to read, so we can just get to the next slide. Everybody have time to do so. So what makes us unique is the network. We have a network of members. We have a network of experts, also particularly soil experts, based in different geographical regions all around the world. For this call, I indicated some of the regions that are interesting, that we have a lot of members in. And we also have experience with Living Lab. We have one Living Lab running in Burundi, the last project. And the second part that makes us interesting is our Naturland Academy that we launched recently. It's an on and offline capacity building platform that offers a very broad spectrum of educational materials and courses, blended learning courses, face-to-face learning, based on peer-to-peer learning, knowledge exchange, basically everything you could think of. And also our communication channels are very active, and we're still so it would be interesting for us to participate, to develop one of our members into a living lab to do dissemination. We are very active in learning, e-learning, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I hope this sparked your interest, and please connect with me later on. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We weren't downloading that. If they have that folder in there, and I think. No.
Hello everyone.
Welcome.
Hello. So my name is Boucher Aisha. I'm working with Create Agroalimentaire in France, and we are working on this project is a European project, USPF Digit, on-site digital surveys for soil and plant and food contamination. So could you please the next, yeah. So this project is a 3 years EU-funded project. It starts in October 2024 and it will end in 2027. That developed advanced AI-powered sensor technologies to monitor case soil contamination as PFAS and pesticide, heavy metals, and nutrient in real time. So our objectives are improve soil health and food safety, and move from lab TRL5 to field digitals TRL8, enable informed decision via a secure decision support system. Our main activities are to develop portable and autonomous monitoring tools and combine and also to combine sensor, AI, and drones and Earth observation. Test in new condition. We have pilot in Greece and Spain, and promote also an open science and an EU collaboration. Can you please go to the next slide? Thank you. In terms of technologies, we are developing electrochemical MAP sensor for PFAS detection, optical biosensor for pesticide residue monitoring, and also electrochemical ADU sensor for heavy metal and micronutrition, UAV and autonomous robots for soil sampling, and UVC-based analyzers for soil moisture and nutrient monitoring. And our objective, the objective of this project is to turn data into action, helping to protect our soil and food system and our environment. So this is a brief presentation of this project. If you need more information about this project, with an 18 partner with a different canteen in Europe, you have just to scan this QR code and or to contact Estelle. And thank you. That's all.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next up, Benga, are you with us? Give another moment. Benga. Yes, we hear you. I think we hear you.
I am Oluwatoyin Ologundudu,
okay,
the program
sorry, yes.
officer for the network of organic agriculture researchers in Africa.
Okay.
Professor Lubenga Adeoluwa will also be speaking now. Is having a networking, but in case it's not audible, I will take over to make the presentation.
I didn't catch what she said.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sorry, I can do the presentation.
I think one of you has to mute your mic.
Thank you very much. I will be making the presentation shortly. Perfect. This is NOARA, the Network of Organic Agricultural Researchers in Africa. And basically, NOARA is a member-based organization that networks both the conventional researchers and farmer researchers in the space of organic and agroecology. Present briefly the objectives, challenges, objectives of NOARA. And we focus on 4 thematic areas: research and training, which addresses research agenda on organic and agroecological agriculture in Africa, and as well as coordinating organic and ecological training and research in the continent. Secondly, NOARA also focuses on policy and stakeholders engagement. We try as much as possible to encourage all the researchers working in the space of organic and agroecology in the continent to come up with policy dimensions of their work, of their research, and then we try to give this proper connection. Those that should make the best of the points. The third one is a conferences and information dissemination, which is a very important component of research, NOARA. We organize conferences. And one of these common one is the African Organic Research Conference that comes off 3 years. The next one will be in Cairo. This 24 to 26 of November this year. And then the last one is networking, advocacy, and awards. NOARA networks both the conventional researchers as well as the farmer-led researchers in the organic and agroecological space. And then we map researchers, and then we do next slide, please. Expertise and resources that are offered by NOARA, which we are hoping that we'll be able to get partners, for the any of the Horizon grant application. Currently, NOARA is leading the development of the 10-year organic agricultural research agenda for Africa. It's almost reaching finalization. And what has been obtained through participatory approach of different stakeholders in Africa and outside Africa, working towards Africa, have been put together and currently going through validation. NOARA has over 400 seasoned researchers and across so many countries in Africa, at least 29 countries, and then other countries outside Africa, which collaborates in discussing research outputs, and then addressing different issues. NOARA also disseminates organic and agroecology research outputs in form of journals, in form of newsletters. And then a major one is the journal of NOARA, which is African Journal of Organic and Ecology, which is approaching the 8th volume this year. So NOARA also collaborates. Currently, NOARA has been trained by Agroecology Europe on OASIS, which is a tool for evaluating agroecological farms and then the impact of the farming systems on the environment. So in terms of expertise, NOARA has experience in organizing conferences, just like it's been mentioned. On the right hand of the screen, you'll see the flyer of the forthcoming Second African Research Conference, the journal there, and then a recent picture, some of the researchers of NOARA working on farmers' field to map the impact of organic and agroecological and compare agroecological and conventional farming on the biodiversity of farms. Next slide. And here we are in terms of collaboration. NOARA is an official partner of FIBO, and we do hope that organizations will find NOARA in terms of its coverage of Africa, a good partner in terms of bidding for any of the proposals. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to quickly say that I think probably some participants have questions about, in these funding calls specifically, which countries or regions are eligible to be partners. So Gabriele and I are not experts on this, but this is a perfect example where, as of tomorrow, the Soil Help Desk will be active, and we do welcome questions on this. I mean, please try to also do your homework and check out the calls, but there are funding opportunities certainly within Horizon. Perhaps not these calls for African partnerships, but I'm not exactly sure, and I'm very happy that you're here to represent. And I know that there's some cross collaborations for sure. So we can help with the other members of the Soil project team to give some guidance on that. So we welcome questions in the Soil Hub help desk. Okay, I turn it over to Leah Tourneur, who I think is with us in the room.
So yes, it's me. So my name is Leah Tourneur. You can go to the next slide directly. I represent ACTA, which is the umbrella organization for the French Agricultural Technical Institute. ACTA coordinates a national network that performs applied research to support farmers and drive innovation in agriculture. So from soil health and agroecology to digital farming, biodiversity, and many other topics. Our network includes 19 agricultural technical institutes. So 9 institutes in plant sectors, 5 focuses on the animal sectors, 3 are dedicated to specific sectors such as algae, forestry, and organic agriculture. And 2 are located in French overseas territories working on tropical systems. Our institute works hand in hand with farmers, advisors, and cooperatives. They ensure that innovation basically is rooted practically in the reality. This makes ACTA one of the most practice-oriented research network in Europe. We are currently involved in more than 130 Horizon EU projects, and we are the fourth biggest participant in Cluster 6. You can go in the next slide, please. So we are already involved in the soil mission. ACTA is part of the Prep Soil project. So we are looking for also to participate to the topic that I put on the right side of the slide. But basically, we have expertise in all agricultural sector. We are implementing, of course, experimentations on dedicated facilities, also on farms. We are developing, sharing, improving tools such as CAP 2ER, which is a French tool assessing environmental performance at farm level. We are also evaluating technical, environmental, and socioeconomic feasibility of farm practices. So we are able to produce recommendations based on that. We are also a key actor in EU project for the implementation of the multi-actor approach. So we are able to mobilize French farmers and advisors to disseminate results, to identify also needs of farmers and advisors, etc. And we are producing training for advisors and farmers. So, yeah. And finally, in parallel of this, We are with one of our members, Arvaldis, coordinating a project for the Mission Soil 2025-6, which is about quantifying the impact of farming practices on soil health in arable lands. And we are still looking for some skills on meta-analysis, statistics, machine learning and AI, scale changes, social sciences, multi-actor approach, and public policies. So if you are interested and if you have, if you think that we can have synergies and extra, goes after. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I think we have two left. There's three. Okay, so Elias.
Yes, hello to everybody. So my name is Elias. I'm an agriculture engineer, and I'm spending my time between living in Belgium and Greece. I've recently started an advisory service called agroecological service, and you get the ecosystem service @pm.me. Yes, next slide, please. Thank you. So the objective I to present today is how we can develop services responding directly to the demand of farmers. Because too often in of innovation and project we see a disconnect, like solutions being offered, but leading to poor adoption by the end users. So a solution to this challenge is the use of participatory action research, which is starting from the real situation and the context of farmer communities and responding directly to their problems. So through a process of and experimentation, farmers are empowered and become a driving force in the innovation. And through their intrinsic motivation and active involvement, the solutions developed are then better suited to the field conditions, and the adoption of the diffusion of the innovations become spontaneous. Thank you. Next slide. So I'm here today offering my own expertise in rural development and the social science of agriculture. The past 4 years, I have been managing an EU project on soil fertility in Burundi. And I have also developed a few project proposals that led to funding for the organization I was working for. Now, next to offering my personal services, I'm also looking for partners for a Greek NGO that I'm collaborating with on the island of Crete. So it's SFDO NGO, so Sustainable Food Destinations Organization, who is working with the tourism industry, the local communities, and a few more cooperatives on the island on developing value chains and creating sustainable food destinations. We are mostly interested for working on the Horizon Mission Ocean 06, restoring ocean and waters on islands. However, when looking at the other open calls, we also would be potentially interested by the Mission Soil 03, the Soil 06, or the Horizon Climate 03 calls. So that was it. Thank you for the last slide. Thank you. And so if you want more information on SFDO, you can go to sfdo.ngo, or if you want to get in touch with me directly, you can reach me at ecosystem.pm.me. Thank you very much also for organizing. Wish you the best.
All right, thank you, Elias. Okay, I think last but not least, Maha, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, Hello, Honorable Committee and organizers. Thank you for offering me this great opportunity. My name is Maha Khalafallah, and I hold a PhD from University of Debrecen. I'm pleased to present my proposed ideas for Living Lab program. So I am open to collaborative and engage in any research group based in my background and my experience that is aimed or objective to investigate the soil agroecological practice, especially for crops, focusing on impact on nutritional and biochemical quality affected by the soil type. Also, the project it will target the soil microbes analysis and molecular enzyme profiling. So also I'm open to participate in meta-analysis, support site-specific crop production for strategies for European country regulation and policies to achieve sustainability goals. Next slide, please. Next slide. Hello. Okay.
I think it's
Yes. So my contribution can be in address it under biochemical profiling, design, enzyme activity assay, microbes detection by using the tools of GMC, ICB, and spectrometer. I will not to be to details the tools. So thank you for your chance for this opportunity, and you can reach me in the following email. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Maha.
Thank you.
I need to turn up the volume. So sorry, I think that we did have another one that was I added on later. So sorry, Tara Bate, if you're with us.
Hello, everyone. Great to be here. I'm here representing a relatively young organization born in 2021 called Les Décompactés de l'ABC. We're based in Toulouse in France, in the southwestern part of France. And my colleague, Quentin Saint-Gers, is not present today, so I'll be presenting on behalf of our organization. Next slide, please. So the objectives of this association are basically 4 of them. One is to participate in environmental preservation through namely conservation organic farming. The other one is to ensure that farming is a viable and livable work nowadays. Also to ensure that food is both healthy and tasty and nutritious. And lastly, to ensure better connections and understanding of agriculture within the French territory. And we're starting to broaden also to a broader, we're starting to upscale beyond the limits of France only. Our main activities are to organize peer-to-peer practice sharing, to organize workshops and trainings for farmers with experts, be they researchers in their own fields or other farmers that are pioneers in their domains. But also we produce research and on-farm experiments with many living labs throughout France. We also disseminate and communicate research results to a variety of audiences. And lastly, we facilitate collaborations and partnerships between different stakeholders, be they civil society, researchers, other farmers, and agricultural development agencies. The challenges we face are mainly the fact that there is still little available research on conservation organic agriculture, perhaps even more so in the French-speaking realm, as this is a relatively young field of inquiry. And the last challenge that we're facing at the moment is the difficulty to have farmers comply with research protocols on farm, on living labs. And yeah, thanks. So the expertise we offer is on setting up on-farm experiments, the protocols to follow, the procedures. We also have expertise in soil and hydrological sciences. We have expertise on coordinating multi-stakeholder networks. And lastly, on organizing from farm to fork events, which is mainly connecting the civil society and consumers to food production. The resources we have are multiple, a network of farmers, of pioneering farmers who are willing to experiment and innovate in this field. We also are in contact with companies in the farming and development sector and with consumers, grouped either as civil society or individual consumers that feel concerned, citizens, we shall say. Another kind of resource we have is a group of pioneers at the national level of farmers mainly, but also researchers that are used to experimenting on their own farms. And lastly, we are equipped with tools to track soil health and a network of soil analysis labs. The expertise we are requesting at this moment is mainly learning about newest developments on conservation organic agriculture abroad and in France, and in different socioeconomic and pedoclimatic contexts. We also would love to have more access to more pedological expertise to assess causal links between agricultural practices and their impact on soil health. And lastly, more genetics expertise on the development of species adapted to climate change and to the volatility of inputs costs. So basically species tailored to conservation organic systems that are weed tolerant and development of associated crops. Last slide. Thank you. So this is my contact to get in touch with us, terabate@decompacté.apc.org or Quinton's address just below. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. And I must apologize to Didier, who's here with us. So I really have to give him the chance to also make a pitch and look forward to it. So I know we're behind schedule. Thank you very much for sticking with us, those who can. So Didier.
Okay, I will be very, very rapid. In fact, with Benedicto Tre, with Marion Baudou, and also with a network of different living labs, we are co-developing a proposal for the call that we have already presented. So we can go to the next slide, please. And in order to be able to capitalize, in order to share the different advice also across the different living labs, and to feed finally the whole living labs community with the learning, we try to develop further the consortium with some expertise that will be able to support us in the definitions of ex-ante scenario, to evaluate the feasibility and the performance that could be expected from the innovations that will be codified with the living lab, to also characterize the sustainability, not only on the soil aspect, but at the different pillar that concern sustainability approach, So to be able to characterize them across the different living labs and to learn about this, to codify and test, validate some innovations and sustainable business model with the different living labs actors, and also to support the transfer and the learning towards for the let's say some learning community, but also towards policy in order to support their decision making. So this kind of expertise, if you have some good expertise in this field, if you have some good curriculum vitae and reference in this fields, you can share with us. You can share them with us, and we will see if they will remain someplace, because it is an ongoing process. Now we are under constructions, under building, and some of this role could be taken by some of already member of the consortium, but we think that it will remain some open space. So don't hesitate to share some expertise and with us if you want. That's it.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I'll make the wrap up quite quickly since we're behind schedule. Going to, as I said, follow up with lots of information that could be useful, and also have a good look at the chat to see what we need to maybe address that we weren't able to today. But the last thing I need to mention is that we're going to share a link to a feedback survey. So I'm not expecting A+ grades here, at least with certain of the technical aspects. Don't be too harsh on us, but it's important for future events for us and also for the other SOILL-Startup partners. So it's very short. It's really a page with, you can do it, I would say, in about 2 minutes or 3 minutes maximum. So 1-page survey that would help us and the other partners to improve. So here's the link to the feedback form, and also again a reminder, just a last pitch to please consider joining the SOILL community. I think it's through all of your interaction that this hub could be something successful and could actually bring people together to share some useful knowledge, to learn some things, and also most importantly make new connections, I would say. So we'll send this later also with a clear link for how you can do this, but there's a QR code here. Maybe we can just leave this up, and I'll say thank you very much for everybody online and certainly in the room for making it here to the office today. And once again, a round of applause maybe to our speakers and panelists. So thank you much for them.